I'm Scott Holmes. I do custom wood finishing. I also teach wood finishing in the Houston area. I've been finishing for 25 years. I've done everything from hardwood floors to spiral staircases to custom furniture. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to condition, use, and clean a varnish brush. But first, we have to talk about the brushes. There are standard brushes and there are high quality brushes. I recommend a high quality brush. Both of these brushes are natural bristle, which is the best to use for varnish. But you'll notice that the bristles on the high quality brush versus the bristles on the standard brush is about 3 to 1. These both have a chiseled shape, but you'll notice that the quality brush has a much more dramatic chisel, thus puts a lot more bristles on the project while you're finishing it. Now, the first thing before you use a brush is you need to condition the brush. And to condition the brush, you dip it in mineral spirits. So we're going to do that now with both of these brushes. While those are soaking, I'm going to go ahead and get my varnish ready. Now, I always shake my varnish. People say don't ever shake your varnish. It puts bubbles in it and it makes a problem. It doesn't cause a problem if you use the proper technique to apply your varnish. Notice this is a dark varnish. This is a phenolic resin varnish. It's one of the hardest varnishes. This is the one I like best for tabletops. This varnish has already been thinned about 10% with mineral spirits. Most varnishes nowadays, I find them a little too thick to be able to properly brush them out. So 10%, sometimes 20% to thin them. Filtering is always important. I always filter before I use it. You do not want anything in your finish that doesn't belong there. A regular paint filter works just fine. I play a little game with myself. I try to figure out exactly how much finish I'm going to need and then put that amount in this pan. I've actually gotten pretty good at guessing how much I need. With it. Let's go see how our brushes are doing. Well, as you can see, the high quality brush absorbed a lot more mineral spirits than the other brush. Now this brush is ready to use for varnish. To load the brush, what I do is I'll dip it in here and drag it up this way. Notice I'm not dragging it across any kind of an edge. I'm not introducing any bubbles into it. Those few bubbles that are there will pop. Okay, let's apply the finish. Got a walnut board here that's already got a couple of coats of varnish on it, and I'm now going to put the third coat on. I usually start an inch or two from the end, and I will brush it this way, and then I'll come back and catch that, and then I'll brush it this way, and I'll come back and catch that, and I will continue to do that. Now is the most important part of finishing. Once you have that, you'll see there's a few bubbles in there. What you'll want to do is you'll come back with your brush almost at 90 degrees and very gently drag it with the grain in a nice even motion. When you do this, you'll get rid of any ridges and you will pop most of the bubbles. And you just gently do that, and then the last stroke, and you're finished with that. Notice how I finished that whole board with just that one small amount of finish. You may not know this, but a quality brush actually gets better with age. There's two things that happen. One, it stops losing hairs, which is my pet peeve. The other is the ends of each fiber start to fray, and they actually lay the finish down better. So don't be discouraged if you buy a quality brush and it doesn't perform to your liking the first time you use it. It will get better with age. And now what we need to do is learn how to clean this brush. I use a three-step system. I actually use 3 different containers with mineral spirits. A first rinse, a second rinse, and a third rinse. As you'll notice in the first rinse, a lot of the stuff that got rinsed out is settled down to the bottom. And then I will work the brush, and while I'm doing that, I'm actually cleaning the sides of my container and I'm cleaning the brush. Then I'll scrape that off, and then that goes back in the used number 3. And then I will get rinse number 2. And then I'll do the same thing. And I will continue to clean that brush out and clean the pan at the same time. And once I've got everything cleaned, I'll decide if that needs to go in rinse number 3 or rinse number 1 or rinse number 2. Because I didn't do much, we'll put this back in rinse number 2. And then I'll go to rinse number 3. And with rinse number 3, I'll do the same thing. Pour that back in. The final rinse is always with fresh mineral spirits. I want to make sure my brush is clean. By using fresh mineral spirits, while I'm cleaning the brush, I can tell if it gets any color and I'll know if the brush is completely clean. Once it's clean, that mineral spirits goes in rinse 3. At this point, the brush is clean and the pan is clean. I can wipe the pan out. Now this tray is ready to use the next time I need to use a finish. If you're going to store your brush for more than a few days, you want to continue the cleaning process. What I use is a citrus cleaner, dish soap, and water. And I will just spray the citrus cleaner straight into the bristles, right through the end of the bristles. This will get all the mineral spirits out and make it much easier to clean it with the soap and water. Rinse that in water. Then I'll get my dish soap and I'll do the same thing. I'll put it right in the end of the brush. Grab the bristles, rub it around. You want to get a suds. You want your brush nice and clean. While you're doing this, grab the end of those bristles. Don't be afraid to pull on them. This is where you get rid of all the loose ones. It'll get better to get them out now than in your finish. Once you've done that, rinse it in water. I usually do it a second time with the soap, and then I rinse it in water, and normally I'm rinsing it under running water. Then I will get a blue shop towel, and I will lay that out. I will put my brush on the blue shop towel, and I will roll the brush into the shop towel. And then I'll fold that under. That keeps the bristles nice and formed. And then I'll hang it to dry. And your brush is ready to use the next time you need it, in better shape than it was when it was new. A matter of fact, this brush has been used for varnish and cleaned more than 250 times. Get a quality brush, give it a try. I think you'll like the results.